This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast.
Welcome to the Urban Pharmacy Podcast, where we help women remove the overwhelm of living their most holistic life. This is the place to find evidence-based nutrition tactics, healthy lifestyle and wellness tips, abundance mindset, and easily implementable low-tox living strategies so you can rise up to your full potential and protect your family's health. I'm your host, Stacey Heine, certified holistic nutritionist and better living advocate. Now, let's get empowered with some simple swaps that make a big impact for optimal wellness. Welcome to episode 79 of the Urban Pharmacy Podcast. Today's guest is Carolyn Chen. She's an entrepreneur, innovative marketer, successful business owner, boutique winery proprietor, and first female president and CEO of NutraMilk worldwide. Carolyn's passion to help enrich the lives of others toward a healthy and reduced waste lifestyle has always been a part of her DNA. However, after her mother was diagnosed with a rare disease of amyloidosis in 2016, it sparked a significant change in her views of food and a plant-based lifestyle. The more she engaged with nutritionists and plant-based pioneers, one thing became clear: food can heal. In leading NutraMilk's launch and initial grassroots efforts and brand awareness and distribution, the personal stories she encountered from many different communities shaped how the brand was developed and its presence now in industries such as fitness, health, food service, and hospitality. Carolyn has guided the course for NutraMilk's evolution from a concept to an innovative, must-have high-end kitchen appliance. Carolyn develops, drives, and implements cohesive marketing strategies to increase brand awareness and sales while overseeing and managing multiple teams spanning across North America, South America, United Kingdom, Europe, Asia, and Australia. In her downtime, Carolyn is often traveling the globe, winemaking, feeding her adrenaline through outdoor activities, which include enjoying the thrills of whitewater rafting or spending time with her family in Los Angeles, California. You are gonna love hearing about Carolyn's story and about this amazing machine that I have been using in my kitchen, which has helped me significantly decrease time and increase the nutrients that my family is getting. So, I hope you enjoy this episode, but before we get started, I wanna let you know that it's been 7 years since I was advocating for better beauty laws and helping people switch to a lifestyle with less toxins, and it's an incredibly rewarding job to have. I've got to give a shout out to Beauty Counter because not only are they the most high-performing clean beauty brand on the market, but they are now offering 20% off with code CLEANFORALL20 at checkout for brand new customers. In addition to that, anyone who enrolls as an advocate right now will be paid 35% base pay commission through the end of 2022, which is 10% higher than the usual commission rate. So with the biggest buying and selling season upon us, this truly is a great time to link arms with me and this important mission of getting safer products into the hands of everyone. Click the join button in the podcast description and let's do this thing together. Carolyn Chen, welcome to the Urban Pharmacy Podcast.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm a little under the weather, so like if you hear a little.
No worries. And I'm on my treadmill, so hopefully the background noise is not too loud. I'm just super slowly walking, but we're just having a casual conversation today. I really am excited to connect with you and talk to you and learn from you about the NutraMilk machine, one of my new favorite kitchen items, and also about how this all got started, your story, and then we're going to talk about entrepreneurship because that is inspiring in and of itself. So first off, Carolyn, let's get started. I want to know about you. Can you tell us I mean, you can take as long as you need to here. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. I want to know about you and how you and your story and your journey created the conception of NutraMilk.
Okay. So I am Carolyn Chen, and I am actually Chinese American, and I live in Southern California, raised here, born in New York. And so I've had actually a plethora of different types of careers and always been an entrepreneur, as you've been saying. I actually I have owned and still own several different companies, including a wedding and event design company for 20 years,
Wow.
which was very different from this. And so the NutraMilk actually was, so the conception was, back in the mid it was like around 2015, 2016, the engineer that actually invented the machine. And so it was like, he himself was lactose intolerant. And, at the time there wasn't this, entire, I mean, when you look at like the grocery shelves and everything like that, where it's just been, plant-based milks, take over, right?
Yeah. Which by the way,
like
I'm just going to intervene right here there. I don't buy any of those. Just so you know, listeners, I don't buy any of them. The only ones that I do buy are the organic soybean ones that are just soybeans and water, because most of them have salt, sugar, oil, flavors, crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I had to just say that.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah. The other brands that are kind of within our core group is within the coffee space. So like, we also have sister brands that do, we have coffee equipment, like pour over coffee equipment, kettles that are for, warming your water, or teas, to make pour over coffee. We have coffee brewers. So Bonavita and Brewista are our other brands.
Okay, I love it.
So because of that coffee space, the initial idea was to be able to provide coffee shops and cafes, an opportunity to be able to make plant-based milks very easily, to offer their customers, to make, lattes and things like that. Because again, at the time there weren't very many options, and as you said, they're filled with, mostly water and oils and sugar and salt and binding agents, etc. So then it took probably a good 4 or 5 years. It was developed actually with the help of the industrial design department over at Denver Metropolitan University. With their and so it was kind of cool because a lot of the students got to be a part of the they were listed on the patents as well. Okay.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, so it's actually a patented product. We've got 12 patents on it, and and so we just set out to try and make everybody's lives easier, with the NutraMilk machine, where you can make plant-based milks, just within minutes, without having to strain, without having to use, cheesecloths and soak overnight, and and just very, very like nutrient dense, very healthy butters, and almond butters and peanut butters and plant-based milks and such like that. And because of this journey, as I was reading about everything that had to do with a plant-based lifestyle, and just like what would make a healthy lifestyle, and just your routines and things like that, I did then about 5 years ago, I myself became plant-based as well.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. So it was nice, and I just feel so much better, so much cleaner, no problems with digestion. one of the things was that when I initially set off for having a plant-based diet, it was also to help my mother at the time, who had a very rare disease.
Wow.
And she just loved to eat meat and those kind of things. And so her disease was called amyloidosis, and I was one of her caretakers. I was trying to help her, just through food, be like medicine. But it was to that kind of point where she you feel like, okay, you want to let her be able to eat what she wants to eat in moderation, because she doesn't have that much time left. So I didn't force her, although we did eat very cleanly and very, like, basically no salt, such like that. So yeah, in my entire perception of just eating and looking at just like a healthy lifestyle really changed through these last few years. So yeah, so that's kind of my story here.
Oh my gosh, I love it. There's so much to kind of unpack there. Wow. Okay, so when did NutraMilk come out on the market?
So we came out in 2017.
Okay.
And prior to that, it took some time, because we with the NutraMilk machine, you have you get a recipe book with over 200 recipes.
Yes.
So we developed that recipe book with a lady named Rita Rivera, who already had kind of, she was sort of like one of the earlier pioneers, if you will, of like different plant-based milks. And then she developed some additional recipes with us, and then through that, then one of my first projects for the NutraMilk was to get that recipe book shot, like food styling and shoot some pretty photos and get a book made. So that was part of entrepreneurship. That was just learning how to put that all together, having had no experience making a recipe book, but you do it, and I think it came out pretty nicely.
I think it's amazing. It's an amazing, I haven't even been able to look through all of that. Like, I opened something last night and it was like a grape, like, smoothie of some sort. I'm like, wait, what is this? This is like all these awesome, fantastic ideas in there. And then toward the end of it, there's like drinks and there's just so many things. And I saw that there's like coffee and tea, combinations and ideas in there, which I think is brilliant, of course, because if you're wanting coffee shops and such to buy this machine, which, by the way, I'm like, as we were talking, I'm like thinking of my local coffee shops. I'm like, oh, they need a NutraMilk. Like, whoa, hold on. I gotta go tell the people about this. You know me by now. I really like to lean in on natural medicine and herbal immune support, which is why my family and I love to use Organic Green Growers elderberry syrup. Elderberry is an immune modulating herb, and one which can be rated super high on the ORAC value, which measures antioxidant capacity. The pre-made elderberry syrup and DIY elderberry syrup kits are blended with anti-inflammatory plants that upgrade the holistic elderberry experience. Visit greengrowers.farm/shop and use code HOLISTIC to enjoy a 20% discount and free shipping today. Thanks to Green Growers Farm for sponsoring this episode. Back to the show. So, okay, let's back up even more. When did you decide to get into entrepreneurship? I mean, you said where you kind of started, but like, what was it within you, Caroline, that like, I want to do something for myself. I want to kind of go out on my own.
Well, straight out of college, I actually had studied international global marketing, went into this, Fortune Global 500 company, was handling marketing. It was a very 9 to 5 type of very corporate job where they dictate what kind of, clothing you have to wear. It's like very, very business attire, that type of thing. And probably, around, and I had my side hustle, if you will, handling, doing events and such. And that was just because all through basically my life, I was always organizing events and things.
Okay.
So then I had decided to go out on my own, about 7 years into working full time, I said, okay, I'm ready to take this jump because I had developed this amazing sort of referral base and decided to take that jump. And, it was a very, you come to these crossroads, right? Where you decide that, okay, do you make that jump? Because it's a big deal, right? Because, you don't have that stable sort of like monthly, biweekly kind of paycheck. You don't have that 401k match. You don't have the health insurance. Now everything you have to do yourself. You wear so many different hats. You have to figure out IT, you have to figure out accounting and taxes and just everything on top of, doing the actual job that you want, you're passionate about, that you want to do, right? And getting clients and things like that. And so, I feel that as my, through this journey of being an entrepreneur for already 20 years and having, for example, working remotely from home, I already figured out that sort of like life balance, or time management. Okay, how much time should I be spending on myself? Some of that me time, right? How much time for clients, and getting that freedom to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna be able to go and I could, as long as I have my computer, I could do all my work from wherever, and then doing whatever I need to do with my clients and such. And so, that was about 20 years. And then I came into this, I was kind of like, I think I need to rest from doing these events and working with brides and all the time. And then it sort of became this like, as social media became big and, just sort of these like different generations of brides and expectations and things like that. I was like, all right, it's time to now sort of pivot a little. And so, taking the experience that I had with, running my own businesses and such, then I said, okay, I'm going to go into, I started off with just doing like some of the marketing, organizing trade shows and things like that. And then ended up, taking over and, becoming, so we have, again, I've mentioned we have several brands. And so, it was everything from figuring out, the e-commerce platforms and, getting websites done and, which, I've done before, but that's on a service level. Now, you're selling products and things. And so, and previously I did work in international logistics as well. And so I took sort of all of that and came came kind of full circle. And then, so now I've got the NutraMilk, and then I'm also running the companies that manage Bonavita and Brewista. And so as an entrepreneur, I mean, it's, you have to, I say it like, you become sort of this jack of all trades, but master of none.
Yeah, but have you heard the rest of that quote? Do you know what the rest of that quote is? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, so jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Oh my gosh. When I was like, wait a minute, my whole mind was just blown. I'm like, that's so true. And that is like literally embodying what being an entrepreneur is. Like, it's not just one thing. Right. And I want to back up and just give you accolades, because you were telling me how, as you kind of got into it and you started this journey, like you were already thinking, how can I take care of me? How can I take care of me through this whole situation? And I also want to give you props for recognizing that you were tired, you were burnt out, and that it was time to pivot. And that's also a huge part of not just entrepreneurship, but life in general. I think that there's a lot of parallels, whether you're a mom or whether you're like, whatever you are, like entrepreneurship, motherhood, like there's always a lot of hats to wear. And at the base of all of this is us. And we have to 100% be thinking all of the time about how we can make sure we are nurturing ourselves, how we can make sure that we can, serve ourselves, serve our existence, so that we can then show up in the world and, serve people through our zone of genius and be the best person. Because if we aren't taking care of ourselves first, like none of it's going to go forward, and it's just not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
And,
that.
kind of speaking on that, like being sort of the jack of all trades, like you are not going to be able to have the bandwidth to handle everything, right?
Yep.
But at least understanding it so that, whether you have, once you start delegating the jobs out, or you work with, let's say, I've got extensions of my team. Maybe I work with agencies and things like that.
Yep.
But I do feel like, because I do understand the principles of most of everything, that I'm not going to get, how do you say, bamboozled, right?
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, okay, you don't want to be like for example, walking into a mechanic and then and then getting bamboozled because they think nothing about cars or something.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
well, I've had a few cars.
Yes.
I know a little,
Got a little experience under my belt. I know some people. I've got some people working with me, like I know what I'm doing. I get you. I hear you there for sure.
I may not be physically doing that, the work day to day, but I do feel like it is important to understand it and not be afraid to, take on the challenges. For example, I look back at like when we had to develop all the packaging and develop it, like just all of the different little aspects that you have to do, and figuring out how to put together SKUs and UPC labels, and then just the whole multi-channel marketing and coming on all these different platforms. And as everything changed, from just your regular blogs to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and all these kind of things, it was just like, okay, I felt like as long as I knew enough, that like it was good enough, and then I can get the professionals that I need to work on it, so that again, like I don't have to handle everything myself, but at least I know a little bit about it, and that's something I encourage all entrepreneurs to know, to kind of get their hands into things so that they understand from A to Z. Just like we own our own warehouse, and I'm in the back of the warehouse very often, especially during the holidays. I mean, we are I know also, like, okay, what it takes to have to like lift these heavy boxes and get the labels on, and fulfill these shipments and stuff in a timely manner, and it's pretty amazing, just all the inner works and interlacings of how these companies have, how when you're running a brand and running a company, and how you have to get everything together, and just really finding like the balance of, okay, where do you need help on, and
where do you outsource, right?
Exactly.
Yes, I can relate to you a lot, just kind of having, we sell elderberry syrup, and we started selling elderberry syrup like off the front porch, not gonna lie. This was like 5 years ago. And then at the farmer's market, and then we had to make that at the commercial kitchen. And now we have it being made in a co-packer, right? And then, we're taking the next steps, like, to scale it. And it's such a journey and an evolution. And I think that it's super important that no matter what kind of entrepreneur you are, like whether you're in direct sales, whether you are, creating a service, selling a product, I think that as long as you can kind of look at your brand as in a holistic way and identify where your zone of genius is, I understand exactly like where you're going to be able to show up in the biggest and best way, and then kind of create a plan like, all right, long term, this is where I'm going to have help, but you might need to have a little bit of your foot in the door, like with all the things at first, just to kind of understand everything and how it all is going to work. And I love that you're literally boots on the ground, like, part of it all. And as an entrepreneur, that's just how it is. I love it. Okay. So let's pivot to the NutraMilk because it's incredible. Now, you said there was somebody who created it. Now, I want to know from you, what are your favorite ways to use it? Because for those of you who haven't seen it, which I'll be doing demos on my YouTube, I will absolutely be showing so much more as the holidays come too. Like, I'm so excited. I feel like I'm going to do like just all things. So anyways, it is like the coolest machine. It's like a food processor, but a juicer, but a nut milk maker. I mean, there's so many different ways to use it, especially when you have both canisters. Yeah. So when you got this machine in your hands, you're like, all right, I'm just going to make nut milk. Or did you just like, I mean, you said you wanted to create this cookbook. Did you experiment? Like what was your favorite way to use it? Tell me all the things.
So yeah, I mean, we started off with, we're like, okay, well, this is going to make almond milk. Yep. And then we figured out, all right, well, there's so many other things we can make with it. And then, started experimenting with all different types of, the seeds and, whether it was sesame seed, pumpkin seed, flax seed, which is a little bit not as great because it gets kind of coagulated, but yeah. And then, and we would start getting all these questions from people like, hey, can I make hemp milk? Can I do, oat milk and whatever? And so we set out on this, sort of this, all right, okay, let's figure out, okay, well, we know that in most cases, if it's like nuts or seeds, you can make your butters first, right?
Yeah.
That's the first process before you add in your liquids to filter and get everything mixed up to make the milks. And then, as we started developing more recipes and working with, different like recipe developers, and then, because like we get a lot of people that buy the machine just from, it's not just for home, but also for a commercial use, right?
Yes.
In the cafes, in the, we have juice bars and things. And so, they're like, well, can you do this? Can you do that? So it was like, all right, smoothies, right? And why we developed the second attachment, which is our butter smoothie bowl, was we figured out that there were a lot of people not wanting to just make, they didn't want to make milks only, like they wanted to do, like they literally have kids and things that just like love butters, like almond butters and things. But if you like run it very, very smooth, or for a longer time, it starts to kind of like go through the filters, and then it's a little
right
within the inner bowl and stuff. So we're like, okay, let's make this, let's basically take the filter out. Let's do the butter smoothie bowl. So now you could do smoothies, you could do sauces and soups and things. For me, I think I've done a little bit of everything. On a daily basis, I make smoothies, and so I use it for not only being able to make, like, for example, the almond butter or sunflower butter, walnut butter, because like you do get to learn about all the different health benefits. And, for example, walnut butter, right? It doesn't sound that great, but it's actually very good. And it's great for brain health, all of your omegas and such.
Yes.
And so those are the kind of things, I would maybe pre-batch them, and then I would make, a couple of different milks that I would want to use it for, and a sesame seed milks, and, like I want to, I'm starting to have some gray hair. And so I was like, okay, black sesame, it's great for hair, and then, it's just, I mean, it's like, you get to, what's fun is like, you use it as, you can experiment with it, right? And then, during Thanksgiving, let's say, I'll make different kinds of like soups, and I'll make a plant-based cheese sauce for my mac and cheese, right? And then we worked with a chef that said, hey, you could do veggie broths out of with the NutraMilk. And so basically took a bunch of like raw, like scraps.
I made a veggie broth a few nights ago. I put beets and carrots in it. It was I put a little bit too much beets in there, but like, and we need some celery. We didn't have celery, but like, I'm going to add to it and just, I can't wait. I'm going to have like an amazing noodle bowl with this beyond good broth. Broth
Yeah.
is so expensive too. Like it's so expensive and it's not eco-friendly. So,
Right.
and here's the deal. Like I was thinking, absolutely the machine is 100% an investment, but so is getting a Vitamix, so is getting a food processor, right? But like you can actually kind of have 2-in-1 right there. Like, so you can get the NutraMilk. And I will say my son probably would have really appreciated the NutraMilk growing up. He's 5 now, but he grew up on hemp milk after I weaned him after several years. And like the way that he had it was dates and hemp seeds and water blended. There was no straining because I was too lazy. Even though I had all the fancy nut milk bags, like I was just like, nope, you're drinking it straight. What's beautiful about the NutraMilk is that it doesn't even strain the same way as a nut bag does. Like I feel like it's thicker and it kind of still has a little bit of the fiber because it strains it so well through this amazing like spatula hitting the straining sheet, if you will. And it just creates a really like luxurious milk, whether it's oat milk or nut milk or seed milk. And I think it's awesome. It works so well. But yeah, Cohen really would have appreciated that back in the day, but it's okay. Now he's used to the really weird texture. So we'll just keep rolling with that. Okay. So soups, I'm like definitely into that. I'm thinking I want to do like a pumpkin. You mentioned cheese sauce. That made me really hungry. So I'm thinking like a cheesy pumpkin sage. I don't know. I'm totally going to geek out. I really haven't had the machine for that long and I'm so excited about all of the endless uses. Smoothie bowls are such a big deal with children these days. I mean, moms are loving the smoothie bowls because it gives them the opportunity to get veggies in. They can add, greens even to the smoothie, and it could be like a green monster smoothie. And then you can load it up with whatever you want. Coconut shavings, dried mulberries. Yeah. Chia seeds, get those, all the good balance of different omegas, like so good. So the possibilities are endless. And the recipes in this book are incredible.
Yeah.
So
I actually also use it to make snacks and treats and stuff for my dog.
I love that.
I have two pups. One's a chocolate Labrador and a mini Aussie. They're both actually vegetarian.
Our dogs are, people can think what they want. They can think whatever they want, but our dogs are definitely 100% plant-based and they have been for a long time. And I do believe actually that changed their health. Mm-hmm. It totally changed their health. So in a good way.
Yeah. But I had a plant-based animal nutritionist that helped create, the different recipes for me.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Like, because, you do, use almond butter, you do use peanut butters, so we make it fresh with the NutraMilk. And then, just making like little blueberry and, maybe like some yogurt treats, so I'll get like, I haven't actually made the yogurts myself, although, we have a lot of the recipes with the plant-based yogurts.
Yeah.
And so, like whether that be like a cashew yogurt or whatever, or like oats and such, but we'll make some, like blueberry treats or, pumpkin treats and things like that for the dogs.
Gosh, I would eat that. That sounds like, what's the difference?
We have like little paw and bone, like silicone.
I love it. I love it. That's extra. That is next level. I love it. The things that we do for our animals. It's it's amazing. I used to cook all the things, but now we have 3 dogs and it's too many. It's too many.
Yeah.
I can't keep up. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to wake up with intention and purpose, feel energized and full of vitality to start the day, and like you're truly living in alignment with your ideal life of wellness? Maybe you're tired of staying stuck and need a solid mindset shift, or perhaps you're craving a community of holistic mamas who are all striving for that 1% better way of living by tackling the holistic pillars. No matter where you are in your journey, I invite you to register for my upcoming masterclass, Becoming Whole, which will give you natural, healthy habit tactics and tips to increase your longevity so you can feel well and confident to own the next steps of your life. Topics covered will be mind-body connection, evidence-based diet, and how environment impacts everything in your life. Rise up into the impact you envision with a rock-solid mindset and get prepared to change your life holistically. Tap the link in the show notes to get registered or visit my website at theurbanpharmacy.com/becomingwhole. Can't wait to see you there. Okay, so have you heard any stories about the NutraMilk and what it has done for other people to help them create a healthy lifestyle? I mean, I know that your target market is obviously people who are selling their own products, like coffee shops and stuff like that. But I'm sure there's been other consumers, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right. So how has it helped people?
I mean, I want to say that we've gotten a lot of, whether it be like health professionals or doctors and health advocates and stuff that love the machine and the Esselstyns would be one, and then Chef AJ.
I'm about to interview Jane and Anne literally in like 15 minutes. I'm so excited. Okay.
And they're and it's great because they have these like amazing like whole food type diets, no salts, no oils, and a lot of the and unfortunately, I mean, a lot of the people that end up having to, kind of go to them, it's because, maybe they're a regular doctor has said to them that, well, you're going to need dialysis, you're going to need to do this and this. And whereas, it was like, okay. And so that starts to get them to think about like, how can I use food again to change my diet? How can I become healthier? And we have seen so many people of all ages, all sizes, of all types of health problems, like really say how, we have a lady who, she's got celiac disease and she has all different, she's called the allergy chef, and she has like, I can't even remember how many, like hundreds of different kinds of like allergies that between her and her family they have. And so she literally says how the NutraMilk saved her life.
Wow.
Saved her life because like she's able to very cleanly make, the ingredients and the kind of things that she needs to be able to sustain her life and know, what's exactly going into it. And nothing that, because like even water can affect her and such. I mean, it was pretty amazing to like hear her story, right? And so when somebody says that the NutraMilk has saved their life, I mean, she's not joking at all. She was just like, she was pretty
side note on that water thing. Just this is why it's so important, guys, like that, and I don't know her situation, maybe it was a different pH of the water, but this is why it's so important that we use like filtered water, because there's pharmaceuticals, there's chlorine, there's fluoride, there's lots of things that are in our water. So this is another reason why making your own nut milk is a good idea, because you can control the controllables. You can control the ingredients that are going into your body. Whereas even if you're buying the most, organic nut milk off the shelf, you still don't know what water they're using. So anyway, I digress, but okay. That's a super powerful story.
Yeah. Wow. And so, I would just say that like we've had a lot of kind of like health saving stories, that have come about. And, even just like, let's say, I remember being in a commercial kitchen at one of the restaurants in Miami. And, she was a plant-based chef, and she says that, they would have to make their, almond milks and the different plant-based milks like every day. And they would have to hire these people, like literally that's all they do for hours and hours.
Wow.
And like to the point where I think like people were getting carpal tunnel syndrome.
Yeah.
From having to, constantly squeeze like the cheese bags, right? Or the nut bags. And having the machine, it's just like, boom, run it, I got it and use it. And it was like again, time saving, life changing, work changing and stuff. And it was just, it's just been so amazing to be able to hear from, just like different people and their stories. And, our demographics are very, very widespread, too. I mean, we'll have, your 70, 80-year-old grandma, grandpa that's just like, yeah, I can't really, eat hard things anymore, so I need to break it down. But also my doctor said I need more omega, so I need to drink like, so we saw that you can make walnut milk,
Yeah. Yes, I
and such.
love
And
it.
so, you get people like that, and they're, and they tell you their stories and things. And then we've got, we've got people of just, all different kinds of like age ranges, female, male, and it doesn't even matter what kind of diets they're going, that they're
Yes.
using, even just, being lactose intolerant, or maybe they're following a keto diet, or I mean, whatever, like whatever, floats your boat, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people have said, the NutraMilk really helps them and makes it makes, things so much easier and time saving, and and just being really able to know like what's going into their food, I think is just
Gosh.
like amazing. Mhm.
Yeah, gosh. So there's like three benefits here. Let's just rattle them off. I mean, you get to control the ingredients that go into your body, you get
Mhm.
to save the earth, and you get
Mhm.
to save money after
Mhm.
you make your quote investment back, right? And you will, because when you think about how costly a good, like for instance, like a veggie broth that I buy, it's like $5 because I'm getting the ones that have like no sodium or low
Mhm.
sodium. I'm super picky.
Right.
And they've typically got to be organic. And then, even just cartridges of plant milks. I know people are spending a ton of money on, especially if they're actually any good quality. That's a lot of packaging. So let's go to that sustainability factor.
Mhm.
I used to buy raw sprouted sunflower seed butter just last month. It hasn't been
Mhm.
that long since, but like I no longer will, because
Mhm.
now I can do that on my own. So I
Mhm.
bought bulk sunflower seeds. I didn't go through the step to sprout them, even though optimally I would.
Mhm.
But probably next time I'll just buy bulk sprouted raw sunflower seeds and make sunflower butter, because I can't send my son to forest school or homeschool co-op, which is where he goes. Like I can't send him with any peanuts. So I'm sending him with different, seed ingredients, and like a tiny jar of that sunflower butter or raw walnut butter and cashew butter that I would buy.
Right.
Super expensive, and a lot of packaging. So we've got a lot of benefits going on. We get to control the ingredients, we get to save the earth, and we get to save money all at the same time, and save time. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
No more squeezing the nut bags. And I like how easy they are to clean. I will say there's not like a lot of like nooks and crannies or anything like a juicer has, which is
Mhm.
super annoying. Like it's really easy to clean, and I
Right.
very much appreciate that too. So, okay, just a lot of good things about the NutraMilk machine. It's a pretty fascinating device, and anything that can make my life easier in the kitchen is worth it to me for sure. So, okay, before we wrap up, because it is time, I want you, if you can, Carolyn, pull a few recipes from the book, if you can think of any off the top of your head, like one or two, or maybe three max. What are your favorites, so that we can start getting hungry, because I'm already at that point.
Gosh.
There's so many recipes.
And honestly, I don't even remember if all of these were necessarily from the recipe book. We've developed
Yeah.
so many recipes through the years that are
Yeah.
also on our
Some of your
website.
faves. It's okay. Just any
Yeah,
of your faves.
we get weekly newsletters, out. Probably
Yes.
recently would be the pumpkin cream beverages that are like sort of all the rage that just came out at Starbucks.
Oh yeah.
So while we came, we have our own pumpkin cream that you can use, for your beverages. I would say strawberry hummus is something that I
Oh
really like.
God.
It's
Yum.
more of
That
like
sounds good.
a different take. Of course, you can have your garlic or herb, truffle hummus. But then like, if you want sort of a dessert, you could put fresh strawberries in and have this like beautiful, like pink, strawberry
Wow.
hummus. I mentioned, cheese, the, plant-based cheese, that we
Yes.
can make. And so, it's great for like nachos.
Mm.
I crave a lot of that. Usually, and so that's great, or to put over your mac and cheese. Some of my, I want to say, like butternut squash soup
Yes.
has been amazing. And then I drink a lot of matcha. So, I make a lot of different milks, and, we'll make matcha lattes with it. So those are probably some of my, like, right off the top of my head that I could think of that are really, really, yummy.
I love it. So good. And you guys that are listening, if you want to get a NutraMilk machine, I do have a discount code. So you can use Stacy50 at checkout and save $50 on your own NutraMilk. So I think, right now when we're recording this, it's August, or September, will probably air in October. So get yourself your own Christmas gift before the holidays hit, or make sure you let your people know that that's what you want, because it's going to change your life. It's awesome.
Yeah. And also on Shopify, actually, we have Shop Pay. So, you can pay in 4 installments as well.
Oh,
so
that's so convenient. Yeah, we do that with with a clean beauty company that I work for too. And it's just makes it really convenient to be able to get what you want so you can be healthy and take charge of your, your holistic wellness, but afford it at the same time. Because we often know that when it comes to living a more healthy lifestyle, sometimes we do need to buy some new things or replace the things that are not any longer serving our health, and make the investment in our health long term. And this machine is going to last me forever, so I'm good to go. So it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question for you. I ask all of the guests this, and I want to know from you, Carolyn, what does holistic living mean to you?
I think for me also, having sort of that, having the Asian background as well, there's a lot of kind of things that I knew already kind of growing up, that my mom taught me and things. For example, like goji berries being good for your eyes. That was like something we knew ever since we were little, right? And so I think just being able to incorporate all of these different types of natural things that you find, in kind of like how you were talking about elderberry, right? Being, I mentioned I do have like a little bit of a cold, but I've been just taking elderberry syrup, or elderberry, for it, and drinking honey lemon water. But I don't really, I don't like to use medicine, things like that. And so I think having a balance in life and just understanding, like kind of what we were talking about in the beginning was, when you recognize that, okay, you need time for yourself, okay, and having that sort of that routine, sometimes you do sway away from it. You're just like, things get busy and such, and then you forget to, maybe take care of yourself and stuff. So it's like, going out in nature, taking a walk, and I think it's just like having a little bit of balance, of everything in your life. I don't think that it's possible as entrepreneurs to be completely off of electronics and things like that. But again, everything in moderation, right?
And we can get the Wi-Fi protectors.
Yeah. And just so that to me again is just having a balance, sort of looking at everything, the yin and the yangs, and just making sure you recognize yourself for yourself, but then also, it's like, because part of yourself is also in your business, when you're an entrepreneur, and how do you balance all of that, right? And that to me is probably my interpretation of like a holistic living style.
I love it so much. So good. All of the things. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Carolyn, for coming on and spending time with me and sharing your story. It's super inspiring. And I think it's a story that hopefully people can walk away from. And of course, not only want a NutraMilk machine because it's amazing, but also feel inspiration to continue going despite hardships, despite pivots, despite, maybe sometimes the feeling of overwhelm, and to just kind of take a step back and think about the impact that they're making on other people's lives and keep going. So beautiful story. I really appreciate you. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy, for having me. This has been amazing.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of The Urban Pharmacy. For today's show notes, head on over to theurbanpharmacy.com and be sure to join us inside our private Facebook group called The Urban Pharmacy, where we share inspiration, live trainings, and holistic living tips to help you build community and the healthy lifestyle that you've always wanted. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button and please consider leaving us a 5-star review. Before we connect again on the next show, follow me on Instagram at The Urban Pharmacy. That's urban with an H and pharmacy with an F. And I can't wait to hear your wellness journey as we get to know each other better. You know, there's truly no better time than now to level up your life, and I am so proud of you for showing up today. Until next time, be well, Health Crusader.